days ache, some nights hollow, some moments don't resolve. And still, you are allowed to be here, to stay here without pretending. You don't owe joy, you don't owe ease, you don't owe progress today. The sky doesn't always clear, the body doesn't always open, and even in fog, you are still real, you are still whole. You don't have to be okay to belong. You don't have to be okay to be heard. You don't have to be okay to be loved. You can cry without apologizing. You can go quiet without explaining. You cannot know what you need and still deserve gentleness. This is not a test, this is not a performance, this is not a phase you have to rush through. You are not a problem to fix, you are a person to stay with, and I will stay. You are still sacred when you fall apart. You are still worthy when you don't make sense. You don't have to be okay to be safe, to be wanted, to be held. Even when the light fades, even when your breath shakes, even when hope is hard to find, you are still enough, you are still loved. Let this be your breath today. I don't have to be okay.